What is going on, Dandy Crew, DandyDrew, and we are back for another episode of Dandy After Dark. And where the hell's the wheat? Holy bejeezies. We got, well, it's here on the coast. As you guys know from the first format, I'm going to be playing this game, answering your questions. Hopefully we're going to have a good time, learn some Catan to the best of my ability. And I am seeing this very interesting 6-5-11. Ooh. Guys, I think there's two main options I'm looking at. I'm looking at the 9-5-10. I think it's that because the reality is we have a lot of things we can do here, the or. There's also this very fun idea of 6-5-11, 6-3. Should we do that? 6-5-11, 6-3? How ridiculous is that? It's pretty ridiculous. The idea is maybe 6-3, you can go to 8-3. I'm looking at that there. So it's either 9-5-10. The question is, does third end up playing this setup? The board opens up. So then I assume that the 9-10-5 goes. Then we play maybe off the sheep port. Let's do this. I think in practice it works. And the idea is that we'll play off of the 6-3, and I like that. Because I think we have 6-3 to 8-3. All right, guys. So without further ado, we've got our settle spot here. We've got a game plan. We're going to try something a little bit different. We'll see how it works. All right, let's get into the first question. Really appreciate everyone showing up on the questions. Had a great time last time we did this. All right, so question number one comes from Injo. And they say, how to not tilt when playing Catan. Man, that's a hard one. I think it's a hard one for a lot of people, but it's certainly a hard one for me. Because I'm a very passionate person. I bring a lot of my personality into the game, from the style choices to the way that I talk in-game, whether it's typing. So naturally, you have to realize it is a social game, and that means parts of your emotion will come out when you play. That's normal. But I think one thing, it's a perspective. Man, I can make an entire video on this. I have a lot to say about emotional control and tilting and what does it all mean or how to deal with it. But I think the biggest thing to realize is that at the end of the day, you have to find frames or you have to find perspectives that are helpful for you, right? And when things go wrong, you have to see, how can I look at this from another angle? Another example of that is like if someone gets angry or someone gets mad or starts saying nasty things in the chat to you, a good way to reframe is say maybe that person is just having a horrible day. Right? Maybe something's going on in their life. Maybe a loved one passed away, or they just got in a really big fight with their significant other. And then when you start to reframe things and look at it from other perspectives, you change the emotional trigger that it might have on you. Versus if you're just taking everything personally and think it's all a personal attack, well, then you're going to be at the mercy of other people's opinions. Holy balls, look at this. I don't know what that is, but we've got some creativity in the house today. So I think the biggest thing with tilt is just to take it from the perspective that, you know, it's not personal. It's not, I think that would be a really big thing. Reframing. We'll talk more about that throughout as the channel goes on. We got our plans, 6-3, 6-5-11. We'll see how that works for us, I suppose. Now, does he do 6-2 down? Kind of interesting. There's also the or port, but I think just getting the 3 and the 11 of the sheep's really nice. So Injo, hopefully that question to give you a little bit of perspective. We'll do more content on that for sure. Next question is from Danielle Vervloed. First, I'm really enjoying the content and especially the kind and chill vibes. That's what I'm talking about. 6-2. It definitely elevates the game to me when I see players going about things respectfully and still seem to have a great time. I lost a card. I don't know which one. I lost a card, though. I only have one question. Would you be interested in expanding your playstyle, extending your teaches to other parts of the Catan world? I'd love to hear you play and hear your thoughts on seafarers. Yes. I do plan on doing some CK content here in the near future. I have played seafarers twice, and I think I have won one time. So I'm a 50% win rate. That's pretty good. I might just retire there. But I do want to do some CK. That is a game expansion that I have dipped my toes in, and I think I've done pretty well there. I've gone to the top of a few different tournaments in that particular format. So yes, I will make sure to provide some of those other expansions as the channel grows, and I find the time to do it, honestly. Danielle, thank you for your questions, and thank you for your kind words. Guys, by the way, as a side note to this game, if we don't get 6s, we lose. Straight up. Okay, next question comes from Jesse Zochert. Is Catan at its core a fundamentally flawed game? Question mark. I love this game and believe in skills. Nice 6. I believe in skilled players winning due to skill and not luck. However, does optimal strategy rely on all 4 players attempting to play on their own win? If one player, for whatever reason, however subtly or unsubtly, decides they want to make other players win or lose, is that an issue? Yeah, I see what you're saying there, by the way. Let's see if we can grab the ore. Potentially red might want this since he does not have... I'm a genius. Okay. Yes and no. Oh my god, let's go. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of cooperation, but that's the whole thing is as you're leveling up and you're playing better and better players, the idea of people completely imbalancing the game really goes out the window. So I think in the early stages, you really can win a lot of games just being optimal in your strategy. You know, people will make mistakes and you'll just outplay them. The balance of the game gets better and better as the skill level increases amongst the table. So I usually don't think there's too much of an issue. Like, you're not going to have a, 3 1,800 players and a 1,200 rated player. Like, that's just not the way it's going to work. So I see what you're saying. Personally, I haven't seemed to be an issue. Of course, there are cases where a bad player might show up, but for most part, nice. Look at these 6s just balling. By the way, and then one more, we get a 5. We'll get another city. Cool. Where are we going here, by the way? What is good? A lot of weed over there in Orange's hands. I would love the block. It's not really a great block here for me, is there? I guess the 10 is decent. Orange, the only one, has done something, so we'll take a brick. We'll certainly take a brick. I think we just pass here. Hopefully it answered your question. As you go up into the skill level, the balancing mechanism of skill also comes into play. Don't think it's a flawed game, so. Thank you, Jesse, for your question. Ben says, best Catan YouTuber. You guys are the best Catan audience. Thank you very much, Ben. Have you ever thought to do a bronze to diamond series where you lose all placements and work your way up to the top? Why do you want me to struggle and suffer, Ben? Probably not. I do want to do another run. Like, I might have 2 or 3 runs on this leaderboard, which would be sick if I get a few accounts into the top 5 or something. But very unlikely I'll do one where I'm going from absolute bottom. But you never know. Maybe if someone gives me an account, maybe I'll start it, but I'm not going to play 10 matches and just lose straight up. Just a heads up there. Nice. Got another city looking good here. I might do like a challenge account where I just do fun challenges and play like wacky setups and see how far I can take that. So I've got some ideas I'm toying with, but it's still pretty early. I guess we'll see where the world takes us. 6s. We need those 6s to come back into our life. Thank you, Ben, for the question and the support, man. Means a lot. Dimitar Anastasov. My friends don't like it when we play Catan and I say someone is 9 points, don't trade him or focus him. They say I'm breaking the game. They are big noobs because I'm winning like 4 out of 5 games. Should I stop and let them win more? Have you ever had this problem with table talk? The general problem with like table talk is like, you're upsetting people because maybe you're winning. Yeah, usually when I'm playing my friends, I tone it down quite a bit. They already expect me to win anyways, right? So it's like me playing like try hard on them doesn't favor me in any ways. If I was you, I would just play more fun, even like try like different setups, like try coastal setups and give yourself some challenge when you're playing against your friends and your weaker opponents. Give them a shot, right? Give them a chance to be in the game and have fun and play. Yeah, I know it's a weird thing. That's usually how I approach it. I don't try too hard with friends and I'm okay with them winning. I think if they want to play me more, I got to give them some incentive to come back, or else it's not fun knowing you're going to lose every single game. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Go try hard when you're playing ranked or you're playing in the Discords. With friends, tone it down a little bit, have a good time. Make it fun for them too. Thank you for the question there. Next question is from Timo Joosten. Can you explain when it is best to do a suboptimal play that is better in a social perspective, and when it is best to play egotistical? Interesting question. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Let's take an accounting of the board. I have not seen the board in like 5 minutes. I look back at everyone is still at 2 points. Come on, guys. I think this is actually a function of the wheat being a problem here, right? Because no one's able to build with the lack of wheat. I'm pretty happy about this. And the thing is, we have the 5s. So anytime he's getting the wheat, we're also getting the ore. And anytime he's getting his ore, we're also getting our wheat. So we should keep pace with the board pretty nicely. So we'll just keep going here. So about your question, it's an interesting one. Playing suboptimal is better in a social perspective. Nice 11. Let's go. We need some 6s, though, in the house. We also have the 3-1. By the way, let's see if we can grab an extra card here. Actually, we'll do this because it does give us the road, and I think we'll get it. I think this has more to do with understanding personalities for me when I think about playing suboptimal, right? Because it's very difficult when you're playing a ranked game and you don't know who you're playing to pivot from a social perspective, because you might not know the players, you might not know their personalities very well. But I think if I know certain players and they don't like table talk, I might pull it back, or I might change my approach to kind of just work with them and smooth out the game a little bit more, if that makes sense. So I would say I wouldn't put too much thought into this suboptimal play perspective in ranked. I just think as you get to know players and their personalities and the quirks, then maybe you can kind of lean on that a bit more. We're going to drop the road, by the way. 8-3 is pretty great for us, but we do need some 6s. Come on, 6. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And I'll think about that question. I think that's a really good question. Oh, we got robbed. Black is doing much better now. The city's down. It's kind of a problem for us. I will do this for 2 cards, aka these guys here. Timo, thank you for your question. Dhruv Jain says, how do you use pacing to determine whether to play patiently, in brackets, usually holding cards or dropping road, or more aggressively, aggressive knight, a slightly worse deal to upgrading or popping a dev? How do you use It really depends on, like, okay, the skill level at a table matters. Again, I'm going to push him for multiple cards. He's got 7 cards, and he's also killing our wheat. We'll also do it for something like this. Or, oh, he kind of paused for a little bit there. You have no sheep, so I'm going to charge you. I'm going to charge you a lot. Now the 6 will roll. I think, too, like, where the board's at. If the board is kind of moving slowly, then I can pace slowly. If it's a very dynamic board, like there's potential for lots of cities and lots of big plays, then I'll probably play it quite differently. So I think it's a large part is the function of the board, right? And like if it's a very dynamic board, I might be more willing to play aggressive because that's maybe what the board calls for. If it's a very slow moving game, I might try to pace with the board and try to just kind of work with people and keep them involved. I guess black would be the only person here. We really need to get some knights. Unfortunately, this 6 being black really does hurt us. Perfect. Our 7 is open for business. Black is a really big problem in this position, but luckily they don't have sheep. And I think as I'm starting to look at this more and more, I'm going to start putting pressure on the 5. Yeah, I think pacing is a very interesting topic. It's very board dependent. Whoa, that's a block. That is a block. Yeah, there's a lot of factors of pacing, but in general, I would recommend if you're playing against weaker opponents, you can get away with pacing harder for sure. Again, I'm going to try my best to get a good deal here. Yeah, I'm not doing it, man. Hopefully that helps you there. Nice too. Nice too. Next question comes from Shrevport Bliss. Are you Donkey Sins? No. Edit. What are some of your favorite books? Favorite books, huh? Man, I have a lot of books. I consider myself very well read. I would recommend, if you're looking for like my go-to book in just life situations in general, it's got to be The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's kind of, I hate to say the word self-help. It's kind of like the Bible for that, but it just has so many good lessons about life and attitude and how to carry yourself, like the book says, as an effective person in many different ways. So I really love what that book has to offer. What else? 7 Habits. Maybe 2. I've learned a lot of my principles of Catan. We need a 6 here. Okay, so we're going to pop. I think what I'll do is I will pop a dev with this. I've actually learned a lot of my principles of Catan through chess. I absolutely love chess. So I would highly recommend, if you are a chess fan, to pick up some chess books to learn the basics. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. We are going to ask for 2 cards here. He will certainly take this. He will certainly take some kind of deal here. He kind of needs to. Yeah, I'm not going to give it to you otherwise, brother. Yeah, okay. You're doing well here. Oh, big 12, big 12. We got to slow down black. He's becoming scarier and scarier as the days go by. Can I get 2 cards here? I would absolutely love 2 cards. I think this is reasonable. It's a good deal for us if we get it, though. Let's just do it with the 2. Just go with the 2, man. You can spare me. I think he's going to budge. So, yeah, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right, that's fine. I'll take that. I think that's a really great book and a really good place for you to start there. All right. StaticLemon says, if you had to pick one resource to play without, which one would you choose? Obviously, circumstantial matter, but all things being the same, would you play without brick, sheep, wood, wheat, or ore? Does your answer change if the board is full of a said resource? All right, I think it's got to be the 5 at this point. Let's go. All right, so let's see if we can get the settle here. 6 points for the settle. Otherwise, we will pop a dilly. I'm also willing to just straight up clear my hand here for this. It's a pretty good deal, too. I think orange might take it. Come on, red. Make my day. For me, I think if there was a resource, I love wood and brick. I love wheat and ore. It's probably the sheep. The sheep kind of feels like the middle, like the ugly stepchild or something, you know? I think I could live without sheep. And that's also like an important lesson to understand compatible resources. Nice. Okay, we needed that knight. We're going to keep the pressure on black here. Pretty happy with that. Dude just getting the world here. Because the thing is, ore and wheat go together very well, work really well. Brick and wood work really well. Sheep is just kind of like, it's kind of hanging around. It tends to lose its effectiveness as the game goes on. So if I had to live without one resource, it's got to be the sheep, my man. I just realized he's got coordinated everything. Holy balls. All right, thank you for the question there, StaticLemon. All right, MK says, don't know if you know that, but I've been wondering why there's always an 11 in the middle of the board and some numbers pair like 8, 5, 9 don't happen at all. Okay, so I don't really know the perfect answer for this, but I do know that the board is placed for at least the... Man, he's just rolling like a god. I don't know what to do about this. That's perfect. The 5s and 9s are crushing it right now. Oh. Okay, well, at least if we roll any of our numbers here, we can go get the 8-3, but he's just rolling so well. They have a very specific method in the way they place the board called the spiral method. And the whole premise is there's like a sequential way that they place it out to where you get these very common patterns like your 5, 9, 10s, your... Jesus Christ, your 8, 4, 10s, the 6, 9, 5s. And it just so happens that's the way it works out, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you other than that's just the way it is. We're getting absolutely rolled here, by the way. Like, these rolls are just nuts. Hopefully we don't 7 out. A 6 would be great, because then what we can do is we can port for the settle, and we should be able to dev pretty quickly, 6 points. Also hoping somebody takes road here soonish. We'll see how that plays. So yeah, it's just the spiral method, MK. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, Fighting Paintball 22 says, thanks for the content, Drew. I find that I'm consistently targeted by friends from turn 1, i.e. embargoes, 2-for-1 trades, blocks, settles, spots prevented. This is because I introduced my friends to the game. Initially, I was better than them and kept winning. Now they've caught up, but they treat me the same. As you've been targeted similarly due to win rate, how do you maintain a win condition and keep your hand actionable despite blocks? Man, it's hard. It's hard against friends because, I mean, they just know you, right? I mean, they're going to play the game the way they want to play it. It's kind of hard to dance around that fact. Oh my God. I think here, guys, it's the 9. It's the free card meta for him. That sucks so much, and we're just not getting our 6s coming in. 5s are crushing. 5s are difficult to deal with, but I think the 9s are just a really big problem for us. Hopefully we can get a good card. Not what we wanted. We need 6s now. 3s, perfect. So a 6 will be a pop and a settle. I think that's really good for us. I mean, any roll will be the settle, and I'll be happy with that. Man, 10s. When I'm playing with friends, I generally just have a good time. Don't try to be ultra competitive, because, I mean, look, I play too much competitive Catan as it is. What is going on? That's fine. It's fine. We need to make sure that he can take road. That really helps solidify the game. It's actually perfect for us because we've already got our VP. Very likely we'll get Army 2 in the process. So I'm okay with this. And we do have the settle if we port. Nice. This is perfect. Might be at 7 though. It's kind of dangerous. So nicely done there, Orange. Yeah, it sounds like you're just kind of dealing with the friends thing. Also, try to just play fun setups, right? Play setups that look off the radar. And you'll probably find if you take it from a less serious standpoint, they'll have a lot more fun with it too, and they'll probably back off. That is exactly what we needed. Holy bejesus. Okay, all right, so now perfect. We just need to dev until we can't dev anymore. But this dude is rolling. He's rolling like a god. I can't stop him. Hopefully that helps there, Fighting Paintball. It's not fun, but you know what? Make it fun for your friends and they might, let go a little bit and kind of sink into the game themselves. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, next question comes from Phillip Jungman. When playing OWS, the first challenge is obtaining the first road settle spot to expand to 3 settles. I have 2 questions around that. 1, do I prioritize turning my first 2 settles into cities, then look to expand for my 3rd settle? Or do I slightly overpay at the start of the game to obtain the 2 wood and brick and settle? When I play OWS, I always end up in a scenario to have 2 sheep, 2 wheat, and 2 ore. I can never decide to pop once, pop twice, or hold for a city. How do I choose properly? Thanks, Drew. 100,000 subs will be here before you know it. That'd be badass, man. Hopefully he connects here. This will make our game much better. Think we'll win if he just drops 1 road here. My man. This is kind of a complicated question. I almost never go out of, when I'm playing OWS, I almost never go out of my way to get the settle. Like, I usually just try to make it happen as a function of what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like, if I have the ability to trade for some wood and brick, like I did in this game where I got the 2 brick, I'll make that happen as the game goes on. But I'm not going to port like away a city sometimes, but I'm not going to really deviate from playing the development card city game if I don't have to, because there's so many good devs. You have things like road builders and yops and monos where you can easily get those 1 to 2 extra settles. So I'd really focus on getting your cities and getting the dev card machine up and running, and that will do you absolute wonders to your game. But yes, you do need to make sure, like, I'm sweating a little bit here in my setup, but not too bad, to be honest with you, because it's actually, you know, with me having the 2 VPs, now all I need is army to win the game. I'm feeling a little bit better about my situation. Perfect. If I didn't have the 2 VPs, I'd be sweating because I need 2 VPs to win this game. Now I can win with army and a city. Dude, these rolls are just bonkers. Luckily, we've got a pretty simple game plan here, which is just dev. But yeah, we definitely need some devs here. We definitely need to get that engine going. As far as your second question, when I play OWS, I always end up a scenario with the 2 ore, 2 sheep, 2 wheat. What do I do? I guess it's going to be dependent on what your situation needs. And also the pacing of the board, right? If you're falling behind, maybe devs might be the play. Oh my goodness. This is it. This is 2 devs. This might just be the winning turn for us here. Okay, there's 1. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we win with 17 cards? Dear Lord. All right, so if we can survive this turn, we can win in the next orbit. Yeah, I mean, the best thing for you to do, Phillip, in those situations is to take a screenshot and share it with, like, good players and kind of explain the situation and discuss what are your options. I think what's more important for you is to actually acknowledge multiple strategic options than trying to figure out, like, what's my one right play. Because if you can come up with 2 or 3 options in a given situation, that's much better for your strategic ability than trying to find that one perfect play every single time. Instinct and as you get better at the game, you'll learn about those things as time goes on. Dude, what are these 5s? Disgusting. Okay, we have a pop no matter what, which is good. I think if we 7, we can throw wheat and the ore, and we still have a pop in our hand as far as I can tell. But thank you, Phillip. All right, Instinct says, when you are reviewing a game, how do you identify key moments? What is your process on determining whether a decision was a mistake or not if we are not thinking outcome orientated? Yeah, that's a great question. Hold on, let's survive here. Oh my God. All right, well, we could just straight up win here if we pull another VP. Okay, so let's pull one more time for the fun. Oh, all right. Well, we got the win in our hand. Now we just need to make sure nobody goes crazy here. So how do we identify key moments? What's your process of determining? And by the way, we know he's not going to pull. We know he's not going to pull any VPs, so we're okay in that regard. Can he take road though? Dude, look at this guy's hand. 17 cards. Unreal. The only way he wins here is if he settles cities and pulls. That's what I'm saying. 17 cards in hand. Like, he's just been rolling like a god. He could win here. No, okay, we win. All right, we're going to try to get that next VP. It'd be crazy if we get 5 here. So how do you identify key moments? What is your process for determining whether a decision was a mistake or not? That's hard, man. I think one of the biggest things you have to realize, you need to get other people's opinions in situations, right? You need to be able to confide in other people and to... Oh. I just realized we don't necessarily have... Well, we do have the win. Dude, he's rolling like a god. I could pop, but I think just taking the city is the better play. All right, there we go. I think a big part of reviewing a game, let's say GG, I would say to work with other people and to bounce ideas off. I think that's one of the best ways I've learned. I remember playing in the Discords, finishing a game and sitting around with people and discussing different options and how do you solve different perspectives. The problem is if you're just in your own silo, you fall on your own biases a lot. And it's hard for you to figure, was I playing strategically smart? Or was I lucky, or was it some kind of weird blend of both? It's hard for me to give you a straight answer here because obviously everything needs to be kind of looked at from probably different angles. The best thing I'd say is reviewing a game early on is to start redoing with multiple people. Get involved in the community, start to play in voice chat, and really make an emphasis at the end of the game to have a discussion. That's what I find is probably one of the most underrated valuable things at Catan is to have those conversations by far. I definitely think it's worth considering there. I think a lot of it too is just intuitive, right? Like I've played so many games and seen so many boards and situations. It's a feel thing, right? Sometimes when I'll be playing and someone will make a move, you'll hear me go, ooh, or ah, and it's hard to explain exactly why that is. Well, I mean, maybe I can, but you feel it first. And I think you've got to learn to hone in that feeling, and it's hard to explain how to get that. I would say over your next few games as you're playing with people, make sure to sit down with them, have those conversations, and say like, what else could I have done? Where else could I have placed? Do you think that mono was good? Should I have dropped roads here? And you'll find all of a sudden you'll paint all these different scenarios that were available to you that maybe you didn't have. I'm going to answer one more question. Let's go through the dice really quick. Yeah, 5s, 9s, and 10s were absolutely cooking. This dude rolled like an absolute unit. And even on top of that, I blocked 10 cards, and look at his 88 cards. Like let's compare. These are the resources gained by rolling dice. Look at this tank. Like he literally rolled 30 more cards than me. This is the problem when you don't have a good port. You have a really hard time offloading those cards. So it's one of those things, I suppose. Last question here. Really appreciate the support from everyone and bringing these questions. I'm going to keep answering the questions. I have a list of them, but I'm trying to get through as many as I can while doing the series. Last question comes from Mathieu. He says, why Catan? ? There's so many other games now. If not Catan, then what else? Game or other activity? I ran into Catan almost by accident. I played with some friends and I got my butt whooped. And I was like, you know what? That's not happening again, because I'm a competitive person. So I went online, started to do some research, and all of a sudden I ran into Delighted, right? And started to learn from him. And the worst part is, or you can say the best part, you learn a strategy, you get some success from it, it becomes addictive. Idea of being able to progress, to improve, to see it and to feel it. I love that. I just caught on to Catan really early. Like I felt like the ability to jump in with a little bit of strategic knowledge and do well, like the barrier is pretty low. It kind of just happened by circumstance. I guess I just kind of ran into it, got good, and went down the rabbit hole and never came back. I am also a chess player, which I've dedicated quite a bit of time there. I've read many books, I've played many games. I'm rated about 1900, which is very respectable, but nothing like a master of any sort. I think if I had to go in at another game, it would probably be chess, for sure. But that's another game where I kind of fell into it when I was younger and got into it and got good, and that's just the way I am. I love dedicating and focusing myself almost to the point of obsession. All right, guys. Dandy After Dark, episode 2 in the books. Interesting game, interesting strategy. You also gotta appreciate pulling 4 VPs. We also had Army too, so I guess however we want to chop it up. This could have gone south pretty quickly if we lost Army, for instance, or the VPs went to black. We're kind of screwed. But overall, it was a fun game. Wasn't really in it too much. Unfortunately, Red also left. I like our idea. I think if I wasn't picking the 5, 6, 11, I would go for the 5, 9, 10 here. I think that's probably the most versatile second pick on this board. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. You're amazing. You're great. There will be more of these. Be patient. I've got a lot of questions and I'm trying to respect when they came in. So if you have sent me questions, you're on the list. You're there. I see you. Don't you worry. All right, I'm out. Have a wonderful day. Stay positive. Keep the good vibes going. I appreciate you. Dandy out.